do you think there is a possibility by 2030, 2035?
Well, firstly, I think those drones over Poland in particular, we're all about probing NATO's reaction to how Russia might do that, how NATO might make big decisions. I was just in Poland and spoke on a show there about this very issue. It wasn't an accident. I know Putin said, oh, no, this was an accident. It was not an accident.
Oh, he's definitely lying.
Well, we know he's lying because his lips were moving. So, this was not an accident. And it was a very deliberate thing, focused at NATO, first and foremost, and then Poland. I think there needs to be a pretty strong response to this. And I think the response of saying if you send your aircraft like they did over Estonia, we may shoot them down. That's a good thing. I don't think Russia are in a position to launch any kind of large-scale attack on Europe at the moment. I mean, Ukraine has more than occupied them. And NATO collectively is far larger, far richer, far more powerful now even than Russia is. So I think what Russia's trying to do is intimidate Europe into not supporting Ukraine as much, intimidate them into acceding to Russia's demands about its role in the European security architecture and everything else. So this is intimidation. It's a Russia that's lacking confidence and is worried. It's not about a Russia that's powerful. It's about a Russia that's weak.
And there was a message from Poland just recently about that this war could last for at least next 2-3 years. I bet you've heard that. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that? Can you elaborate?
I think, unfortunately, and I hate saying this, it's very possible that the war could go on for another couple of years, and that's the last thing any Ukrainian mum or dad or husband or wife of someone serving in the military wants to hear, or someone who's subject to these awful attacks every night. But I think Putin just will have to be beaten. He doesn't want to give up. Ukraine has shown the way how to do that. We just, in the West, have not always stepped up to the degree that we should in providing everything you need to be able to do that.
Do you think that day will ever come, that we will get everything we need to beat in Putin?
I think it might be coming. Europe has finally realised that it needs to step up, and it's been doing that. To be fair to the countries of Europe, many of them have been providing more assistance. There's, the Scandinavians and others have been providing many assistance packages. The problem we have is the productive capacity of Europe and America just has not been up to the challenge of 21st century massed warfare.
Yes. Well, I'm still thinking about the NATO reaction, and I'm so worried that they are probably not... I know you're saying that they are waking up, but I don't really see enough of the sign.
Waking up is not the same as being awake. Waking up is a phase, right?
That's a good one.
So being fully awake and aware and operating is a very different thing. I think we're still in the waking up phase, politically, militarily and industrially in Europe. Certainly in my country, we're very early in the waking up phase. It will still take some time before Europe is as powerful militarily, politically, and industrially is what it needs to be for Russia just to go, no, it's not possible.
General Ryan, speaking about the American President Donald Trump and tomahawks, do you think when he started to speak about this type of weapon, that Ukraine might get them, do you think it means that he became a pro-Ukrainian, anti-Putin? Or it's about something else inside the United States that we don't see, don't understand? Maybe support, maybe just an interest of rich people? I don't know.
I think President Trump's gone on a bit of a journey this year. He certainly started off very pro-Russia. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And the treatment of President Zelensky in the Oval Office was appalling, very disrespectful and just terrible. But I think that he's given President Putin every opportunity to come to the table, and Putin has basically kicked sand in Donald Trump's face, and I don't think he likes that. there is certainly a domestic imperative for the president to either remove America from these wars or achieve peace in these wars. That's a noble objective. I mean, who doesn't want peace in Ukraine? No one wants it more than the Ukrainian people. But it has to be a fair peace. And I think the journey he's gone on is understanding what is a fair peace look like for the Ukrainian people. And I think he's now more aligned with what that might look like from a Ukrainian perspective rather than a Russian perspective. He's not talking about giving up land anymore, which is good. And I think he's talking about Putin saying one thing and doing another, which is true.
Well, definitely.
So he's gone on a journey. I wouldn't quite call him pro-Ukraine yet. I'd probably call him pro-peace, and you can define that any way you want. But I think there is a determination there for him to achieve some kind of peace agreement. Mm-hmm. I don't want to dig into what his motivations for that might be.
To get a Nobel Prize.
That could be a very long conversation.
Oh, yeah, true. General Ryan, you said about the artificial intelligence. So I want to talk about the future of the war. And do you believe that we're heading to the times when there will be only, robotic systems on the battlefield and no human involved? And if that will ever happen with the people on Earth, do you think it's better or it's more frightening?
I don't think we'll see humans being totally replaced in war. And the reason I say that is if you don't have humans, it's actually not war. If all you have is robots, it's a technological transaction. War has to have humans. There has to be a cost for it to actually be a real war. We will see more robots. We will see them being used for a whole range of different things. We will see a larger proportion of robots compared to humans. But, I think we need to be careful about wanting too many robots because war might become more attractive to politicians, not less so. And that's not a future I'd like to see.
And the final one, what at this stage in 2025 you learned from the Ukrainian army that you didn't know or didn't notice before and from their mindset?
Yeah, I think first and foremost that they're incredibly tough, incredibly determined to...
Even now?
Absolutely. I mean, there's all kinds of challenges on the front line with personnel and stuff, but, you see this incredible determination to defend their homeland, to defend their families, to defend their cities, their towns, their territory. That mindset is very important to develop in an army, and the Ukrainian army has that. That doesn't mean there aren't challenges. I mean, there's been a whole range of things with mobilisation and these kind of things, but overall there's this determination, this incredible will in the army that I deeply admire and we should all learn from. I think too that it's proved to be a very adaptive institution, that it's learned and adapted and evolved. The Ukrainian military of today is not the same one that existed in 2022. It's a very different organisation. It's still evolving and it's pulled between its, some Soviet heritage, wanting to be NATO, but also Ukrainian culture and history. And those three things constantly pull it in different directions as it seeks to transform itself. And I think it's important that we, as outside observers, understand those kind of things that are pulling it in different directions at times as it seeks to modernise, transform and win the war.